can also use the bulk dirt on these asteroids for radiation shielding, and we can use the metals for structural materials as we get more ambitious in the use of these raw materials in space. Just by simple processes of heating with solar heating, or perhaps that from a nuclear reactor, we can use most of the materials on these asteroids to create a thriving economy in space. Now, when we get out to nearby asteroids beyond the Earth-Moon system, we're talking about complementing NASA's scientific and human exploration efforts. The commercial sector has the ability to build multiple, simple, small spacecraft that can access these objects. We can accept failures in a way that the government's very expensive scientific spacecraft would not like to accept failure or risk. And they can mount these spacecraft missions, the commercial sector, at a higher pace or a faster pace than the once-per-decade science missions that NASA is able to afford. So it's quite exciting to see the commercial sector, just as in the launch field, get into the space exploration sector. Once we get to these asteroids with our prospectors, humans and robots can follow to do detailed exploration as well. We're going to augment the knowledge that we gain about asteroids from NASA's and other International Space Agency efforts and enable human explorers to eventually reach them, as NASA's goals call for right now. I believe that we won't have a permanent presence in space beyond the space station in this 21st century unless we can reduce the cost and complexity of life support systems, for example, for the astronauts that we send there. The raw materials that we find on the asteroids can spur not only less costly life support, but also spur industrial processes, the use of solar energy that might even be beamed back to Earth, and, of course, making use of the chemicals, the materials we find there in the low-gravity environment of space, in effectively industrializing the space between the Earth and the Moon with the wealth that we find there. And generating that wealth in space can support far more ambitious exploration, as we've mentioned today, throughout the solar system. So, the ultimate goal is going to be to generate new wealth in space. Could you guys advance the slide for me? I think the team right here has the demonstrable talent, experience, and skills to tap into this new wealth. It's only a matter of time till it happens, and this team is determined to start making it happen now. It reminds me of the words of the famous politician and statesman William Jennings Bryan. He might have been speaking about this enterprise today when he wrote about a century ago, saying, "Destiny is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. It's not a thing to be waited for. It's a thing to be achieved." This is the team to achieve it. Thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to move into Q&A. However, I have a very special guest. We have a very special guest who we would like to patch in right now. Let me introduce him as we get the phone connection set up here so we can all hear it. So, first of all, Ross Perot Jr. has a 30-year history in aviation. So he is a true aviator in the truest sense of the word. He obtained his fixed-wing pilot's license, I think, in high school. He's served in the U.S. Air Force. He has flown a number of high-performance aircraft. He became a helicopter pilot, I think, immediately after graduating from Vanderbilt University, which is his alma mater. He piloted, as I mentioned during my remarks, the first all-the-way-around-the-world flight in a helicopter, and I believe it was a Long Ranger. I think so. Yes, it was. Thank you, Charles. So, super amazing journey around the world, an adventurer at heart, a wonderful human being, just one of the most amazing and respectable people you'll ever meet. An incredible businessman, of course, sits on the board of Dell Computer, sold Perot Systems to Dell a couple of years ago and sits on Dell's board. He has a number of interests, including the development of the Fort Worth Alliance Airport, which may be a spaceport one day as well, and continues to fly to this very day, and a huge advocate of ours and of this burgeoning industry of commercial space. So I'd love to patch in Ross and let Ross chat for a few minutes here while he can. He's calling in from Dallas, Texas.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
Good. Very good, Ross. Can we get the volume up a little bit? Just stand by, Ross.
It sounds like you've had a great press conference and a great announcement.
We have had a great press conference, Ross. If you would just tell us for a minute or two what your thoughts are about the company and the project and being part of it all.
Well, Eric, as I've told you before, I really believe in the team. I believe in you, Peter, and Chris. This is where you're betting on the jockey, not necessarily the horse. You guys have got a great background of being successful. I'm a big believer in privatization of space, commercial space. It really is the next great industry in our nation. And I believe you're going to see private capital move more and more into commercial space. I'm honored to be on the ground floor with your team. Very excited to see what you're going to do. And then this really, the great story here is this is an American story. One more time, you're seeing the private sector in America generate these great ideas. You're showing great courage, great vision on a great industry that will continue to keep our country at the forefront of a very exciting industry. So, Eric, I'm on board for many reasons. That's a few of them. And I'm just excited to watch and see how well you guys are going to do.
That's great, Ross. A little difficult to hear you. I think we got 90% of what you said, but we're going to go into Q&A. And would you be open to, if we can't manage with the audio in here, would you be open to some questions coming in over email or over the telephone?
Sure.
Okay. So some of you will be able to chat with Ross as an investor, and Charles, of course. We wanted to get a couple of these folks available for you. But thank you very much, Ross. Just a last comment. What did your kids think of this whole project?
Well, I think between my children and all my nephews, they say Uncle Ross is pretty cool. They think this is really exciting. And I was shocked how quickly the younger generations picked up on the concept and the excitement. And hopefully, Eric, we can generate this kind of excitement all across the nation, but then all the younger generations, and show people that courage and talent can take you a long way.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Ross. Again, thanks for patching in, and because I don't think we're going to try to do the audio here too much, but we'll put people in touch with you, and thank you for taking the time.
Eric, great job. Congratulations. And Charles, say hello to Charles.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much.
All right, guys.
Outstanding. Thank you. So I'm now going to ask Charles to come up here just for a moment. We were going to save some of this for Q&A, but just for 30 seconds, Charles, I'd love to just hear your comments. And this is your building. So Charles needs no introduction. My business partner, one of my closest friends, Charles Simone. Just for a minute here, Charles.
Thanks, Eric. I'm really proud of you and this undertaking. Just talking about the risk of this investment, I have to say that when I made my investment, I thought that I had exactly the sentiments that the other investors did. On the other hand, if I knew that my friend and neighbor was mortgaging his home to invest into the company, I would have advised against that. You shouldn't mortgage your home. And in a sense, our country is in that state in some ways. And I don't think that this would be an appropriate investment for NASA. And as a taxpayer, I certainly wouldn't be super happy if I saw an announcement from NASA for this. But I think that this is where private enterprise comes in, and just the genius of the system is that private investors can take the risk and will try all the different business models. It's a little bit similar to what happened in the internet bubble, that actually worked out for the best for society as a whole. Some investors, of course, were incredibly successful. Other investors lost their money. Everybody remembers Pets.com, I think. But overall, in the long run, we tried all the different models, and now it's the society and the world is much richer for it. And I think it's the same thing is going to happen here. When I hear these descriptions, it does remind me of the early days of the personal computer world, when of course, Bill was talking about a computer on every desk, which was a shocking idea. Computers were these big boxes that corporations owned and cost millions of dollars. How can you have something like that on every desk? It's impossible, even by its size. And of course, it was just changing the whole paradigm and working on reducing the cost and increasing the numbers and increasing the number of tries and bringing in new people and new thinking that really changed the world. And of course, Moore's law, increasing performance by factors of millions. And we thought that in the physical world, in the information world, it's now we think that it's natural for things to grow exponentially. And so it is in genetics. But in the physical world, we haven't seen that exponential growth. We don't have million times more powerful cars or million times more efficient cars than we had. Things improved, but not by that great factors. And so when I hear these incredible astronomical numbers that come from space resources, that reminds me that bringing exponential numbers into the physical world is an amazing new prospect that we have. And from my experience, when I was on the station, it was crystal clear, as you guys so eloquently said, that the cost of water on the station and the cost of the finest photographic equipment was approximately the same, because it was really just the mass that mattered. And being able to bring 1 billion tons of water at once and make it accessible, that will completely change the situation. And it's for fuel and who knows what else. For shielding, of course, there's the other thing I learned at space, and Tom can speak to that too, is that space is not a benign environment. There are a lot of problems with the human occupation of space. The lack of gravity seems to interfere with the physiological processes. But imagine that if we could have billions of tons of material, that would change the picture. We can have centrifuges. We could have swimming pools. And we can have adequate shielding against radiation, which is the lack of gravity and radiation are basically the two biggest problems for humans to be in space. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm very, very excited about what you guys are doing. I'm very proud of you, and I'm just feel privileged to be a part of it. Thank you very much.